Hi everybody, my name is Bree and welcome back to my channel, Bree's Arts. All right, everybody, happy new year, and thanks so much for joining me today. I am so excited for today's video. 2022 was an amazing year here on my Bree's Arts channel, and that is legit, all because of you guys. So today I figured that I would throw together my favorite 22 DIYs of 2022. I really hope that you enjoy this video, you guys. And with that all being said, this is a countdown video, so we're gonna start with number 22. DIY number 22. All right, so using one of these decor pieces, I got this at Dollarama. I have used it before in one of my love theme DIYs that I did right before Valentine's Day. I will link that video up in the cards here. And you can see I'm just sanding down all of those letters because they were a little bit raised. And then grabbing one of my foam rollers and some black chalk paint. First, we're going to paint this in black because we want to make sure that we cover up all of that black lettering. And it's literally impossible to do that if you only use the white chalk paint. You'd have to do like a bajillion coats. And so just paint that up with the black chalk paint first. And then I am going to use the same sponge roller, and we're going to use Linen White by Rust-Oleum and do 3 coats of the white chalk paint. So you'll notice like my first coat here, it kind of came out a little bit gray, but that's okay because the more coats you do, obviously, the more white it will become. And you guys, if you don't have a Dollarama, you can easily make this little fence looking decor piece with some large paint sticks that you can get at Walmart. Easy, easy, easy. Now look at these metal flowers, you guys. I got them at Dollar Tree and they're so gorgeous. The colors are so perfect. Look at that coral and that blue together. And I'm just going to use some of this brown twine. I got it at Dollarama. And I wanted to make some better centers for those flowers because I really didn't like the centers. They're kind of painted really messy. So just using some hot glue on a piece of cardstock, I'm just wrapping that around in a circle until I get a circle big enough to go in the center of each one of my flowers. So round and around and around. And then once I get it big enough, I am going to just cut off the excess, glue that down as flush as you can, and then just using my scissors, I'm just going to cut that out on that piece of cardstock. So kind of at an angle so that you don't see any of the white poking through on the bottom there. And then you will see, see how perfect that fits? It's perfect. So I did notice that there was a little bit of hot glue that was kind of, you know, sticking out on the center there. So I just used my heat gun, got rid of it, no problem. And then just hot gluing that down onto my flower, getting rid of all of those hot glue smudges that came out the side. And just like that. So we're going to do that 3 times for each one of these flowers. How pretty! And so now what I am going to do is take some of my E6000 and a little bit of hot glue, and we are just going to adhere these wooden circles that I got at Dollar Tree. And that will give us a little better of a surface area when we adhere these flowers to our sign. So just like that on all 3. And of course the E6000 is for the permanent hold. The hot glue is for the immediate hold so that I can keep working because I am way too impatient. And now just using some hot glue and gluing these right to our little sign, and we are all done. Like, how easy is this? And this is not just for spring, you guys. This can be all year round. I am 100% putting this in my veranda. It's so gorgeous. DIY number 21. Okay, I love this one, you guys. So check this out. Isn't it so pretty? Love, love, love. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to use some of my packing tape, I guess it is. I get mine off of Amazon. I know that you can get the big rolls from Dollar Tree, but they're just too big. So I like using this stuff. I'll link the paper down in my description box if you guys are interested in that. And you can see here, so I use 24 inches. And here I'm just drawing kind of like a leaf shape. Now, obviously I didn't use the full 24 inches, but that's kind of the shape that you want, is to have it rounded like that. And then, you know, just like when we were in kindergarten, we're gonna make, you know, a fan. So just, just going back and forth. The folds are probably about at 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. But just go back and forth from the center, because you want to make sure that everything is all lined up. And then when you're doing your second half, it continues in that accordion style, like fan style pattern that we're doing, right? So back and forth, and there it is. So just stretch it out. All of the folds that I did here ended up being like super straight. I was actually, not gonna lie, pretty impressed. And so here I'm just gathering up the bottom just to create a stem. Now, you guys, I don't know what's going on with my camera. I'm so sorry, but a lot of this DIY is out of focus. Ugh, I don't know what is happening. I will definitely try to be more diligent to make sure that things are in focus, because that's 2 videos in a row. It's just brutal. But you can see there, I used my stapler. I stapled the bunch together and then cut off the excess there. And now what I'm gonna do is take my scissors here and just create slits at the, just kind of by the folds, not on the folds, but like right beside the folds as I go around this leaf here. So it gives you, you know, like that jaggedy edge, I guess, that these types of leaves have. So just going all the way around, making these small cuts in the top, and see, there we go. We have, you know, a jaggedy leaf. And just like fan it out just a little bit more, you know, like make it exactly how you want it so that your eyes are happy. And then using some jute from the Dollar Tree, I'm just wrapping the stem. So just using some hot glue and going around and around and around just to wrap the stem so that it's nice and clean. Cutting off the excess and then, you know, finishing it off with some hot glue there. Just like that. Okay, so this frame, it is 12 by 12. I got it at Dollar Tree. I'd never seen them there before, you guys, so maybe this is just new to me or I missed them or something like that, but these are a significant size. It's awesome. And so you saw there, I just took out the glass and the little, the mat that was in there as well. And I just traced around the frame there, because I'm going to use some of these garden stakes that are from Dollarama. And we're gonna do like a little bit of a shiplap look here. So when I measured it out, I just had to cut off the tips of each one. Of course, you could use like jumbo popsicle sticks if you wanted to, painter sticks, like whatever you have on hand. And here you can see I'm just kind of lining everything up so that it's, you know, equal spacing, and then taking my hot glue gun and just, you know, covering the entire thing with these sticks. And just like that. I will not show every single one being stuck down, I promise. But that is some really awesome hot gluing. And so there we go. They're all down onto the backing of that cardboard there. And so I'm just putting this in here to make sure that it fits, and it does, and it's fantastic. And so I took it back out, and I'm just going to give this a very, very rough coat of my white chalk paint by Folk Art. So using my chippy brush, just going along and giving that, like I said, just a rough coat. It does not have to be perfect. I wanted some of the, you know, the natural wood to show through as well. And then just taking my sanding block and just distressing it down just a titch. Look at that. All right. Okay, so I placed it back in the frame, and then I did notice there was a little bit of a gap, and that drove me absolutely crazy. So I am using some more of that, that jute cord that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna go all the way around the outside with my hot glue and just trim this up so you don't see any gaps at all on the outside. So it just kind of like, you know, finishes it off and makes it look nice and clean. And then it kind of coordinates into with the color of the leaf. And so then last step, you guys, just taking some hot glue, throwing it on the back of there and placing the leaf down. And this project is done. Now, does this not blow your mind? $100 for the Kirklands, and mine was only $6. Like, what? And DIY number 20. Okay, using one of these pieces from Dollar Tree, and you can see here, like, the prep for this is completely unnecessary, what I'm doing here, because I do end up actually using the back. I was going to use the front of this, but I decided against it. So basically all I'm doing, those roses at the front, they were hot glued on. I'm just heating up the glue with my heat gun, using my finger protector, and then just removing that. And then you can see there's a big pile of scraps. I did try to remove the paper. I thought it might come off easy. It did not. So I gave up on that idea and decided to use the back. We're going to cover this all up anyways, so it doesn't really matter about that little thing there that I'm sanding down from the hanger in the back there. And just magically, shablam, we have a white surface. So just taking some tissue paper, we're gonna layer this stuff up, you guys. And the first thing that I do, because I want this to be super, super textured, is I'm just taking my tissue paper and giving it a really good crumple. And I do it a couple of times as well. So you can see there, scrunching it up, making sure it's nice and wrinkly. And then we are going to use some Mod Podge and stick that to the backing here. So when you're using tissue paper, you guys, make sure it is a fairly thin layer of Mod Podge, because the tissue paper is so thin. If you use a thick layer of Mod Podge, you're just going to oversaturate the paper, and then it's going to rip so easily. So, and you can see there, I'm just kind of patting it down. Never rub the tissue paper, always just pat it down, because if you rub it, you will tear it for sure. So just patting that down, making sure that the corners are adhered really well. And then I will just use my heat gun and just speed up the drying process just a little bit there. And then I will take some, do I cut this off first? Yes. Oh, I sand it off. So using my sanding block here, I will just, in downward motions, sand off the excess tissue paper. And now I'm taking some of this tan, I guess, tissue paper here, and I'm just ripping it across there because we're gonna layer, you guys. This is all about layering. So grabbing some more Mod Podge and then putting my first layer down there. Tap, 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 tap. Make sure it's nice and adhered there. And then using my sanding block, sanding off the excess. So as we layer this on too, of course, it's going to get darker. So I kind of was going for hills maybe, or sand dunes, or I don't really know. I don't really know what my inspiration was here, but I just wanted something very calming. Now, it would be so beautiful to do like this in greens as well, and you could do, you know, a whole bunch of hills of green with your tissue paper. And like I said, as you layer it on, the more layers, the darker it is. So it gives that illusion of distance, right? When you have it lighter at the top and then darker at the bottom, then it looks like there's hills in the distance, kind of. I just love how this turned out. I'm so happy with it, you guys. And so there's our third layer, and just again, Mod Podging it down, sanding off the excess there. Just like that. You can see how it's coming together. And then I wanted to do, with that last layer there, just one more. I didn't want it to be any darker at the bottom, but I did want just a tiny bit more there. So I took my white tissue paper and then gave that a rip, and a few times there, I wanted to have a fairly controlled rip. So you can see there. Okay, so that makes it look like the very back of the, like the last set of hills, I guess, is really far in the distance. And then just put all of that white down. And the more texture, the better, you guys. Don't worry about wrinkles with this project at all. I wanted it to be super textured. And then I think I dry it. Yep, dry it with the heat gun. And then we will sand off the excess, and we are all done with that portion of this project. It is so pretty. Look at that. Oh, I love how it came out. Oh my goodness. All right, so because this is like super calming, I chose to put Just Breathe on here, just as a reminder, like, you know, just chill, breathe in, breathe out, and good to go. So I just made this stencil on my Cricut. I kind of wish that I would have done it stencil-y, but I was concerned about the texture, that the paint might bleed underneath the stencil. So just using some vinyl there. And now I am covering the back, so you can see there my failed attempt at trying to remove that paper. But this contact paper works perfectly when you want to cover the backs of your projects, you guys. I love using the contact paper. It's so slick, and it looks really good. Like, it looks like wood grain on the back. It's perfect. And so at first I was using my scissors, and then I, you know, grew a brain and grabbed my X-Acto knife and, you know, trimmed off the excess that way. That was much smarter. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I did notice that the vinyl that I had used for the Just Breathe there, it was too shiny for my taste. So I just went over with a little bit of the matte Mod Podge, and it brought that shine down. So now I'm using those wooden rings again and some half beads that I got off of Amazon. And we are just going to make this, you know, kind of design. It's kind of boho looking a little bit. And I really love how this piece came out, you guys. And with that little ring, I think I just glued it on crooked, so I just pulled it off, no big deal, threw it back on again, and then just lining everything up there, continuing on and hot gluing everything to the sign. I love this piece, you guys. I think it's so cool. It came out so pretty. Can you imagine this like on a really big scale? Oh my goodness. I would love to do a humongous version of this. It's so, so pretty. DIY number 19. Okay, so I am using this little watering can that I got at Dollarama and a pack of napkins. You can use any napkins you want for this project because I am going to be doing a technique to make this watering can look like concrete. So you can see there that I scrumpled up my napkin. And I did take it apart, like, you know, if it's a 2-ply or 3-ply. And I'm just using my Mod Podge there to put the napkin onto the watering can. So it does not matter how scrumpled and crumpled this napkin is. You know what? The more wrinkles and the more texture, the better. And so you can see there I'm just smoothing the napkin all over the watering can, and I do 3 layers across the watering can of these napkins. So you can see here is another layer that I'm just throwing on there. And like I said, if it's crumpled, bring it on. It's perfect for this project. This is like messy. You do not have to be precise with this project at all, which is delightful. And just securing that all the way down, ripping off the excess there. And then, of course, I will let this dry for, you know, about an hour, just to make sure that that Mod Podge is all dry and ready to go. So you can see there. Look at that amazing texture. Love it. And so I do the same thing to the spout of this watering can as well. Now, keep in mind, if you cannot find this watering can, that is okay. I was thinking it would be really cool to do one of those galvanized metal buckets that you can get at the Dollar Tree. This technique would work so well on this. I just had this little watering can and I, you know, decided to use it for this. So going all the way up the spout with my Mod Podge. And again, I did 3 layers of the napkins all the way around. And there we go. Check it out. Ooh, you guys, I love this so much. All right, so I am going to be using a whole bunch of different colors for this cement look here. So I'm starting off, I believe this is called Maui Sand by Folk Art. It is a nice dark gray. Now, if you don't have this color, I would say that Elephant by Waverly is probably pretty close. So you can see there I was just using a dabby brush and going all over my watering can. And now again, using my dabby brush, I am doing the same technique here. This color is called Castle. So it's kind of like a taupey, browny gray color, I would say, also by Folk Art. And you can see there that I'm just kind of dabbing around and leaving some of that darker color there as well. And then for the next layer, I am using my Parisian Gray by Folk Art. And again, you know, dabbing all over. So I end up, I think, with this color just kind of taking my dabby brush and just rubbing it along the texture instead of dabbing, because it just brought out all of the, you can see here, I think I start, maybe not. Yeah, there we go. So I did just rub that paint over top, and look at that concrete effect, you guys. Oh, I love how this came out. And so here you can see I'm just using my stencil brush and a little bit of white paint and just kind of stippling around on top of all of my different colors here, just to kind of highlight it a bit. And look at that. Look at that. I did it on the spout, and I did that technique also on the handle. Oh, I am in love with this watering can, you guys. And so all I ended up doing was taking some lilies from the Dollar Tree, some really beautiful coral roses, and some lamb's ear that I got from my wonderful subscriber, Jilly Bean. And I just placed those in there. And then the final touch was just to add a lace ribbon bow to this watering can, and you guys, it's all done. Oh, I love it so much. And moving into DIY number 18. All right, look at this cute little birdhouse, you guys. I got it from Dollarama. Now, I know that they do have these little wooden birdhouses at Dollar Tree as well. They are a little bit smaller than this one, but this would work 100% with one of those for sure. And so I am taking my cashew from Waverly, and I'm just going to coat the roof of this little birdhouse here. Now, I understand that it is almost the same color as that natural wood, but I just did not want any of the natural wood color to be showing on this roof. So the cashew was a perfect color choice for this. And you'll see why in a second. And so now I am mixing, because I don't have any really light blue colors, like no pastel blue colors. So I'm just taking some of my favorite color, Nantucket Blue by Folk Art, and some of my white chalk paint. And I'm just mixing that up in a bowl here and creating my own pastel blue. And it's beautiful. I think it's such a pretty color. And so I'm just going to use that pastel blue and go all the way around all of the walls of this little birdhouse, as well as, like, you know, that little perch and the bottom legs and like just the rest of it. And now, completely out of frame, as I tend to do, I'm just using my chippy brush and a little bit of my white chalk paint and just distressing just a little bit. Now, a lot of this you won't see, but I did want to make sure that it looked like natural, you know, natural distress. And now this cardstock, this patterned beautiful paper, I got from Dollarama, and they come in these little, I think are they 6x6? I think they're 6x6 packages, and there's a whole bunch of different patterns and whatnot in all these packages. They're absolutely stunning. And so what I did there is I just measured it off for each one of my little walls there. It is a hexagon shape. And just going around, I am going to, you know, use a little bit of Mod Podge, and we are going to decoupage this paper down. So putting a layer of Mod Podge down, and then of course going over the top to make sure that it is nice and secure. And we are going to do this for every single one of those panels except for the very front where the little birdhouse hole is. But isn't that paper so pretty? Oh my goodness, you guys. I just love it. It just worked out so well. It's so lovely. All right. And so now I am going to take this sun hat. So this particular sun hat is from Dollarama. However, you can absolutely use the ones from the Dollar Tree as well. And I've seen this done by a few creators. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to find like the ending seam of this hat, and I'm just using my scissors there, and I'm going to cut that seam apart and then legit just rip all the way around, and it comes apart completely. Like, it's so easy. So I'm just pulling that apart there, and then you end up with kind of like a little ribbon. It's perfect. And so all I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this fabric from the hat here, and I'm just going to hot glue that all the way around on the roof of my little birdhouse. And so just making sure that it's nice and even. And you will see, like, when I'm going along each one of the sides of the roof there, you can see there I'm pinching along the edge, like the downward edge of the house, so that it creates a ridge that goes down, and I can make sure that my ribbon is nice and straight all the way around the house. If that makes any sense to you guys. You can see what I'm doing, you know, just hot gluing and then making sure that it's straight on the next, you know, portion of the roof there, and around and around and around we go. And so using one of these little candle holders from the Dollar Tree, I am going to shablam, paint that up with my cashew chalk paint. And I did 2 coats because it is glass. So the first coat, you know, you see all the streakies. And then just using a little bit of my antique wax, I'm just distressing it down a little bit just to bring out the details in that candlestick there. And so this flower, again, I did get this one from Dollarama, but there are flowers that are very similar at the Dollar Tree as well. So I just cut off, you know, a little bit of that, and I'm going to attach that to the front of my birdhouse. And keep in mind, you guys, I am just using these colors because that's what makes my eyes happy. You guys do you. If you want to throw like super colorful, gorgeous, vibrant flowers on here, absolutely, like, do your style for sure. This is just, you know, I'm doing blue pastel, and I just love these colors together. And so I'm going to take just one of those little flowers from that pick there and put it on the top of my birdhouse. And these butterflies are from Dollarama as well. I just grabbed one of the blue ones, and I'm just going to hot glue that to the top of my birdhouse. And it just gives it that adorable touch. Isn't it so pretty? And then the last thing, you guys, just gluing that house on top of the candlestick. And this is done. And I think it's just so pretty. All right, you guys, I hope that you're enjoying this compilation video of my best 22 DIYs from 2022. And I just wanted to pop in here just to remind you that if you like home decor on a budget, stuff that looks kind of high end, but you know, you made it yourself and you got the supplies at the dollar store, then you have come to the right place. So make sure you tap that like button, make sure you subscribe, and make sure your notification bell is set to all so that you don't miss any of my uploads. And of course, 2022 would not have been as amazing as it was without all of my breezers out there. So here is my shout out to all of my old subscribers, my new subscribers, and everybody in between. You have made this journey absolutely incredible for me. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys so much. And with all of that being said, let's get back into those DIYs. Here we go, DIY number 17. Okay, so don't mind, oh, there was something on my camera lens, you guys, I'm so sorry. But this is a plant stand that I got at Dollarama. And it's absolutely gorgeous. However, I was not digging that green. So we are going to do the exact same technique as what we did on the watering cans. So starting off with my Maui sand, using my dabby brush there, and getting into all of the cracks and crevices of this little plant stand. Isn't it beautiful? Like, what? Oh, at Dollarama? Hello. And so here you can see I'm using the same color. So this one is the castle. And just taking my dabby brush, and you can see I do end up just like rubbing it along all of the lines and the textures of those roses in this plant stand, just to bring it out, making sure that a lot of that Maui sand is still poking through, and doing that all the way around, and also making sure that I'm getting the outside edges. And again, with my Parisian gray and my stencil brush, I'm just going to go along and again bring out all of those ridges and texture and edges and everything. And you can see there how much it just pops out when I go over there with a lighter color, but you can still see all of the other colors in there. I love this technique, you guys. I absolutely love it. It's so cool how it turned out. And it looks like a slab of concrete, I think. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments. Like, do you think that this looks like concrete? I sure do. All right, so I am using one of these 12-inch rounds. I got them off of Amazon, so I will link them down in the description box. And then I found this candle holder, I guess, from Dollarama, and Shablam painted it black. And I did have to do, I'm pretty sure I did 3 coats of the black just to cover up that gold. And so you can see there, my 12-inch round, I am just going to attach that on to the bottom of this plant stand here, and just using some hot glue all the way around and just securing that down. And it was the perfect size, you guys. It fit just like a glove. And then taking some hot glue, throwing that onto the bottom there, and we have a perfect little riser, like a little tray. How beautiful is that? Ah, it's so pretty. and DIY number 16. And this one was inspired by Wendy Drake on Pinterest. She only has 248 followers, you guys. Go give her some love. I will have it linked down in my description box. And what we're gonna do here is we're just going to use one of these hanging shelves that you can get at the Dollar Tree. This is the bigger of the two sizes. And I am just going to use my black chalk paint by Folk Art and magically paint this up on all the sides, the edges, everything. And you only need one coat of this paint, you guys. It covers so well. And so now I am using these jumbo popsicle sticks that you can get at Walmart, and I'm pretty sure I used 11 of them to create my keys here for this piano. And using my miter shears, I'm just clipping off the very, very end of the rounded part there. So you can see I did leave a little bit of the curve on there because if you look at a piano, the keys are kind of, you know, curved on the edges. So this actually worked out really perfectly. And I'm just using my sanding block, just sanding that down nice and smooth. And there you can see my curves there of my piano key. And I am going to do that to all of these popsicle sticks here. So I'm just marking it off, and then I'm going to use my miter shears on each one and cut them all down. So there we go. And now I'm just going to see how nice they look. Look at that. And so now I'm just going to line this up and mark off. You can see there I did a little bit of an overhang there for the piano keys, and I'm just going to mark off where I need to cut all of these down. So what I end up doing here is I'm just going to, you know, smush them all together there and make sure that they're nice and straight, and then just use my masking tape around them. And I am going to use my miter box to cut these all down to size so that they're all perfectly even and the same size. So just using my tape, going around, taping them up, and then we're just gonna chop them off camera. And there we go. And of course, just using the sanding block and just sanding them all down nice and smooth. And so here I'm just lining these up. They don't go like right to the edge. There's just a little teeny bit of an overhang on each side, but it does not matter at all. It looks fantastic. Now using my white chalk paint, I am going to paint all of those up, and there we go. Nice and white, my ivory keys. Don't they look spectacular? So now I'm just using some hot glue, and I'm just gonna adhere all of these piano keys to that wooden plank there. And just so you guys know, I am actually making this for my choir director. I'm part of the church choir, and the woman who directs the choir, she is like a second mom to me. I absolutely love her, so I thought that this project would be perfect for her. And so now I'm just going to use some of my antique wax and a paper towel, and we're just going to age these keys just a tiny, tiny little bit. You know how when there's like an older piano and the keys look a little bit, you know, worn and kind of faded and whatever. This was the perfect technique to get that look for sure. And so these tumbling tower blocks, these ones are actually from Dollarama. They are bigger than the ones that you can get at the Dollar Tree, so you can see the size difference there. I thought that these were much more appropriate for this project, but if you can't find them, of course you can use the ones from Dollar Tree if you can't find these ones. And so there we have our piano keys, and shablam, they are black. And so here I'm just going to use my sanding block, and I'm just going to just stress these keys down just a little bit to bring out the wood underneath. Again, we are making this kind of look really old and worn, So this is the trick to get that look. And we're just going to do that to all of the keys there, just like that. And then of course, using my hot glue, just going along, making sure that the black keys are centered on the white keys. And you guys know, you've seen pianos before. You do 2 black keys and then 3 black keys and then 2 black keys. And so here I cut this decal off on my Cricut, and it says, "It is well with my soul." Now, this is actually a song that we sing in choir. It's absolutely beautiful. So I thought the phrase on the piano keys from the inspiration piece was, "This is perfect for my choir director." I just love her so much. And so just putting that down, using some Mod Podge. I'm just going to seal this so that the paint, when I actually go in with my black chalk paint, so that it won't bleed. I use this technique all the time, actually. Sometimes you can use the under color, like the color that you're going over top, but because I had already distressed the keys, I couldn't do that. So the Mod Podge works perfectly. And then of course we're using my dabby brush and just dab, dab, dab all along this stencil. I like to use this dabby brush because it doesn't give full coverage, and I wanted it to look, you know, weathered and kind of rustic. So this worked perfectly. And there we go. You can see how there are no bleeds when you use that Mod Podge. I absolutely love that trick. Use it all the time. And there we go, you guys. Like, how gorgeous is that? I love it. All right, DIY number 15. And I freaking love this one, you guys. It is so, oh, it's so pretty. So I'm using these little drawers that you get at the Dollar Tree. They did come in 3 sizes. I am using the bigger size. So I just took off the hardware there, and I'm just sanding down where those holes were. And now I am just going to paint them up with my black chalk paint from Folk Art. And you can see there I did leave one of the bottoms completely unpainted. And so I'm using these square dowels that I got from Dollarama, and we're gonna paint those up with our white chalk paint. And we're gonna do these square dowels that I got from Dollarama, and we're gonna paint those up with our white chalk paint. And we're gonna do all 4 of them, all 4 sides, just like that. And I did do 2 coats as well on each of these. And there we go, all painted up. All right, so now taking some hot glue, I'm just putting a nice bead of glue right in the corner there of the wooden box. And this is the one that has, I think it's unpainted on the bottom. And just putting all 4 of those wooden dowels there. And then taking some of these craft sticks from the Dollar Tree. We're just going to use our wood tint. It's in walnut color. And we're just going to use just a paper towel. And you can see I've learned I put gloves on because this stuff stains your skin. So use gloves. But isn't it such a great color? It looks like stain, and it doesn't smell, and it dries super fast. So you can see here I'm using 3 of those craft sticks on the bottom there, and just, you know, spacing them out nice and even along the bottom, hot gluing them down. Just like that. And I will do that all the way around on all 4 sides, and make sure you just line them up really nice. so that they all look, you know, fabulous. And there we go, all done. I love these, like the stained wood and the black and the white. Oh, it's beautiful. So here I am, I'm just putting the top box on here because I did want to, I wasn't sure, like you can see here I'm testing, do I want to do the same thing? And then I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna put one down there, but I put the box on top first just so that I could make sure that it's all lined up properly. And then of course going all the way around with just one of my craft sticks. And now I have extras that are stained, you know, for a future project. Keep everything, you guys. All right, so this is a plastic sheet. I actually got it from Cricut, I believe. But you can also use like a cutting mat from the Dollar Tree, like those clear plastic ones. And I'm using this window frosting stuff. This is also from the Dollar Tree. It's so pretty. And unfortunately with this, like what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut it down, obviously. I'm just trimming off all of the excess of that, that adhesive film there. And then what I'm gonna do, obviously, we are going to measure everything out just to put little slits like on the side of our lantern here. So just measuring out exactly how big I want these slits. And then, like I said, unfortunately, I did have to use two of these sheets, and these sheets are 12 by 12, I'm pretty sure, of the plastic there from Cricut, but I'm not sure how many you'd have to use with the cutting mats, but that's just the way it worked out for me here. So you can see I took off the top there, and now just, you know, making sure that it fits, which it did. And I'm just going to, out of frame, always out of frame, you guys, I'm so sorry, but I just measured how tall these little plastic slits needed to be, and there we go. So I did cut 4 of those, one for each side, and you can see here that I'm just using some hot glue on the top, like the top craft stick from the bottom, and then the very top, and I just put like a little bead of hot glue across just so that we could get those little slits to stay in place. And so we are going to do that on all 4 sides as well. Look at it's all coming together. It's so pretty. All right, so this little lantern I also got at Dollar Tree. So all I'm gonna do here, I'm just going to clip off the very top of this lantern. And we're gonna use that top, you know, on the top of our lantern, obviously. So just taking off all of those little plastic pieces. It was much easier with my wire cutters than it was with the scissors, just FYI. And I have this little, this ring here. It's like a key ring kind of thing. I got it at the Dollar Tree too. And then I just put that into the top there. And now I glued that the plastic lantern on the top of our lantern here, and I'm just using some of these rub-ons. I cut out a teeny tiny piece of cardstock, and I am going to put the rub-on on there. No rhyme or reason, just like a nice pattern there. And you can see I put that hardware back in, and I just slipped that right into that hardware, and it looks so pretty. And so here I decided I didn't really like the ring as just being silver, so I'm just using some twine, going around and around, hot gluing every now and then of course, once it's all done, just burning off all of the fuzzies with my lighter. And then we're gonna place that into our lantern. The candle's already in, and that is it, you guys. Oh, I love it. and DIY number 14. Okay, so I am using these paint stir sticks that I got at Dollarama. You guys, I don't know what it is, but it might be just Canada. I cannot find the 5-gallon paint stir sticks at Walmart. So this project actually would be so much better if you can find those at your Walmart, because it would be a heck of a lot bigger. Now, I love how this turned out. It's super cute, but I wish I could find those 5-gallon paint stir sticks. So you can see here, I'm just using a popsicle stick and I'm just adhering the 3 of them together. And then I am going to take my chippy brush and my Nantucket blue again. This color, you guys, I have it all over in my house. It's so, so pretty. And I just gave it a very, very rough coat, and then using a little bit of white chalk paint and a stencil brush from Dollar Tree, I just distressed it down just a little bit. And so this square, this wooden square, I got it at Dollar Tree. I believe it comes in a pack with like 2 circles and 2 squares and 2 hearts or something like that. And I just painted that up in my black chalk paint. And now using this self-adhesive stencil from the Dollar Tree, these are awesome, you guys. If you can find them, pick them up, because if you don't have a Cricut, these are absolutely perfect and they're so cute. So just using my dabby brush and some white chalk paint, I'm just dabbing into the stencil here and then pulling it off while it's still wet. And then I just placed it back onto the backing there and just used a paper towel and rubbed off the excess paint, and it's ready to go for next time. These stencils are awesome, for real. And so I'm just taking some hot glue and adhering that little wooden square to our paint stir sticks here. I love this project, you guys. It is so cute. Like I said, if I had those big paint stir sticks, it would be so great. So again, using some of the raffia from the hula skirt that I got at the Dollar Tree. Summertime is coming, you guys. Those hula skirts will be out in no time. I just took a length of it and made a knot, hot glued the knot to the center there, and then just clipping off the excess of the tails there just to make kind of a rough bow. Now, using that those flowers again that I got at Dollarama, hot gluing one into the center there, and you guys, like, how cute is that? It's so cute. But we're getting to the best part. Oh my goodness. Okay, and of course, you know, it didn't look completely even, so I did have to cut it down just a little bit more. Now, I saw this technique on TikTok. So I'm just taking a straw and using my teeny little detail scissors, I am cutting a whole bunch of little slits into the end of this straw. You have to use some really teeny scissors, you guys, because you want to make sure that you get a whole bunch of really, really small like pieces on the straw there. And then you just want to fan them out. So you can see here, I'm just pushing on it. And then I see that there are a few pieces that aren't really that teeny. So going back in with my scissors and cutting those down and making this like super, super feathery. So you can see here, there you go. That is exactly what you want for this. And a close-up. This worked out so perfectly. I was so happy, you guys. Okay, so now I'm just going to take that little, it's almost like a little brush, like a fan brush almost that we've created here, and dab that into some white chalk paint. And here I'm just testing out to make sure that it is actually going to work. And this works like a freaking charm, you guys. I was a little bit nervous, so I didn't have a lot of paint on this little apparatus that I've created here. But after a while, I got super confident and using a little bit more of my chalk paint and going in. And so this is making like the dandelion kind of flower, right? When you blow to make a wish, or, you know, if they're in your yard, then it's just a whole bunch of weeds. And so I will do that 3 different times. You see how it just appears like these little dandelion flowers, they just appear before your eyes. It's so amazing. And then taking a tiny little detail brush here, I just dabbed it into my white chalk paint, and I'm just creating a few stems coming down from my dandelions. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. Like with this project, obviously it's really nice and rough, and you know, it does not have to be perfect. If your lines aren't completely, you know, connected, or they're a little bit wobbly, that's fine. It does not matter. Just use your creativity. Let it flow. And that is it for this project. Like, how cute is this? I absolutely love it. I am going to use that technique for those dandelions on a bigger scale, I think. It's so pretty. And a lucky 13, y'all. And here is the inspiration photo from Pinterest for my Pinterest party. So I had a friend help me out with this one. And what we did is we took a 8-foot 2x4, cut it into 4 pieces. The big one is 27 inches. The middle one is 25. The other one is 23, and the smallest one is 21. So that equals 8 feet. And then we use some wood glue and a nail gun to fasten all of that together. And we are going to paint this up with our white chalk paint. Look at that transition. All right. And so just so you know too, I am making these snowmen for my friend's son. His name is Zachary, so I wanted to say hello to Zachary, and I really hope that you like your snowmen. And so what I did here, I just measured 8 inches down from the top of each one of these snowmen, and we taped them off, and then we're going to paint these with our black chalk paint. So that's going to be the hat, obviously, of each of these snowmen. This is Rich Black by Folk Art. It covers amazingly. And what we're going to do here too is just sand down those edges and bring out the natural wood that is underneath. So we'll do that with the hats, and we'll also go down where the white paint is too, just to distress that down just a little bit, because I really liked that rustic look for these snowmen. You know, it's scrap wood, so we'll make it look a little bit rustic and fantastic. And so now for your viewing pleasure, taking off that painter's tape. So make sure when you are using scrap wood, 2x4s, whatever, that you sand it down, because this is what will happen. You'll get nice crisp lines. If you don't sand it down, you definitely risk bleeding. So look at that. Oh, perfect. And so I just grabbed some of these like painter sticks. I got them at Dollarama. These were just actually scraps that were in my craft room from another project. And I really liked the dips or the shape of the painter's sticks. These are going to be the brims of the hat. So you could also use craft sticks, like the jumbo craft sticks from Walmart would work perfectly. That's what I used in the Pinterest party night. And I just painted those up with my black chalk paint, and now taking, whoa, 3 snowflakes from the Dollar Tree. I painted those up with my white chalk paint as well. And now just hot gluing the brims of the hats to the snowmen. I did mine on an angle. You can put them straight if you want to, whatever it is that you wanted to do. I think that putting them on an angle though makes them a little bit more whimsical. And then just taking those snowflakes and hot gluing those to the brims of the hat as well for our little detail. And there we go on all 3. Now I got this scarf from the Dollar Tree, and they have a whole ton of different colors and whatnot. So what we're going to do here is just spread it out, keep it folded in half. It just makes this part of the project a little bit easier. And I'm taking my rotary blade and just cutting this scarf into thirds. Now, as you can see, I did not cut that very straight at all. I didn't even notice until I was watching back the video. So it doesn't really matter if you're cutting it straight or not, because it's just going to be tied around the snowmen, so it doesn't matter. Nobody's perfect. And so here I am just taking this scarf. The ones, like the sides, have the tassels, and so I just tied it around to the length that I wanted the scarf to hang on each one of these snowmen. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and cut off the bottom there so that the lengths are even. And then I'm just going to make small cuts to get that fringe on the bottom of the scarf. And it worked out perfectly. So I'm going to do that to all 3 of these snowmen. And then just pull them apart and, you know, look at that. Awesome. Okay, so these little sticks I got at Dollar Tree, and for some reason they did not want to stay in my hand to show you what I was doing. They're just flopping all over the place. Yeah, there we go. There we go. We got it. So we're going to use these sticks as the noses for our snowman. And what you can do too, if you can't find these at Dollar Tree, go out in your yard. That's what I did for the rest of the snowmen in my Pinterest party. I just went out into my yard, cut down some sticks that I found, and rock and roll, you got noses for your snowmen. And we just hot glue those into place, just like that. And so now I'm just marking off the faces for my snowmen. So I went with a very, very simple design. Some of the ladies at the Pinterest party, they did different faces and went online. You can find snowman faces on there. And, you know, you can let your creativity soar. Do whatever you want for the faces of your snowmen. And so I just marked this off. Now I grabbed one of those sponge brushes from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just using the handle of it to create like perfect circles for the eyeballs here. Just like that. And you do have to, you know, go over them a little bit as well, just to get the look that you want. Now, again, in my Pinterest party, all of the ladies just used Sharpies. It was a lot easier to just do that. And you can see here I am using a paint marker to do the smiles of my snowmen. So you can do whatever you want, use whatever you want. If you want to use a paintbrush to do those smiles, you know, have at her. And so I'm just putting the scarves back up to where they were before. And then just like floofing them out on the sides there. Aren't they cute? Look at those snowmen. Oh my goodness. Out of scrap wood. Oh, it's awesome. All right, and then I grabbed some buttons, and we're just gonna put 3 on each one of these snowmen here with my hot glue. And there we go. All right, so now we're going to create a swag. So using these pine branches from the Dollar Tree. They come 12 in a package, and I'm just taking one, keeping that one straight, and then we are just going to wrap these around that one straight one, if that makes any sense. So just grabbing one of the branches, twisting, twisting, twisting to create a bow. And around, and then of course these are wired so you can manipulate them as much as you want to, and just twist, twist, twist. You see, there we go. And we are going to do that twice. And floof it, and floof it, and here we go. See, there we go. So there's again 6 per side, 6 branches per side to create this swag. I love these. I'm going to be using these a lot, I think, in my Christmas videos. And so I figured that I would just grab some white chalk paint, and we're going to flock these branches here. So I just grabbed my chippy brush, a tiny little bit of white chalk paint, and we're just going to dry brush over top of these branches just to give them like a snow covered look to them, make them, you know, look a little bit more real, give them more dimension. Yeah, and just go along, dry brush, dry brush, dry brush. You can put as much or as little as you want to, and I did do both sides of each one of these branches. And there we go. Look, it looks so much better, doesn't it? I agree. And so I just grabbed some holly berries off of a pick that I got at Dollarama. And I'm just gonna place a few of those in just for a pop of color. It brings out the red that's in the scarves of those snowmen as well. And just hot glue those into these boughs. Just like that. And you can do whatever you want. You can put pine cones on there. You can put some more of those snowflakes on there. Some, like, embellish as much as or as little as you want, you guys. And so there you can see I'm just putting some hot glue along the bottom of each of these boughs here to adhere them to the bottom of this snowman. And this also covers up any of the glue smooges that came out from when you actually assembled all of the 2x4s together. And then I hot glued a poinsettia in the middle, and this is done, you guys. I love it. Now moving into DIY number 12. All right, you guys, so taking these wooden circles that I got at the Dollar Tree, I just removed the tags, and I'm taking a wooden skewer, also from the Dollar Tree, and you can see there I just cut it down to be as tall as the wooden circle there, and then I'm just filling the hole in with a piece of that skewer. I'm doing this because I don't like when I'm using filler, it'll fall through, and I don't want to use too much filler, so this kind of fills the hole a little bit better. And then I will go in after and then use my wood filler. So check that out. And so here I am taking my wood filler. I really like this stuff because it actually dries the color of the wood, so you really can't see it. So just filling up the rest of the hole, and then I will be sanding that down so it's nice and smooth, just like that. And there we go. So here I'm just trying to find the center of my circle here. So I lined it up on my measuring mat, found the middle, and I'm just making 2 lines here so that, and you know, kind of where they intersect, that's the center. Now the first one I did have to measure a couple of times, but you know, it worked out absolutely perfectly. So I'm going to do that to both of my wooden circles here. Measure, measure, get a measuring mat. I will link mine down in the description box. And then using the biggest drill bit that I could find, I am just drilling a hole in the center. Now, this first one, I am not going all the way through. I'm only going about halfway. So you do have to do it a little bit slower and a little bit more carefully. But this second one, I do go right through the wood circle, just like that. And then sanding it down just so that it's nice and smooth. Just like that. You can do that to both of them. And then magically, these are going to be painted white. And I also used a thicker dowel. I'm pretty sure I got it at Dollarama. And now these little rattan balls, I got those at Dollarama as well. And there are two different sizes. These are natural color. At Dollarama, I believe they have like a really dark brown as well, which would look amazing on this project too. And so I'm just going to thread those rattan balls right onto my wooden dowel here. So I'm using 4 of the smaller ones and 1 of the bigger ones here. And just putting that right through, just like that. Ooh, I love this project. It's so, so pretty. So here I'm just jamming that dowel into the hole that I created there, and then using my hammer, just pounding it through. Now this is the bottom of our little, I don't know, it's a candle holder or plant holder, whatever you want to use it for. And then threading those rattan balls down onto the dowel, and just using my my miter shears, I am going to cut off the piece of the dowel there. Now I did leave about, I don't know, maybe a half an inch, quarter inch, so that I could pound that into the other wooden circle here. So using my hammer again, just pounding that in, and mine turned out really super lovely, you guys. It worked out perfectly. Look at how pretty. Halfway there, DIY number 11. So check out this lantern. It is so cute. And just so you guys know, on the website, there are 3 different sizes. So this is the smaller of the 3. And I'm using these square wooden dowels that I get at Dollarama. And I'm just taking my antique wax yet again and a baby wipe. And I am going to do all 4 sides of each one of these square dowels. So paint, 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 and then rub it off with the baby wipe. And so these little decor pieces, I didn't show, you'll see which ones they are, and I do use them in another project as well in this video. But I'm just taking these, they're from Dollar Tree, and using my Java chalk paint, I painted the insides, and now I used these jumbo popsicle sticks. I believe I got them at Walmart, and I also put some of the antique wax on them, and here I'm just cutting them down to size because I wanted to go around the outside of each one of these boxes here. And so I just cut it down, sand down the edges, and they fit absolutely perfectly on the sides of these boxes, you guys. And just using some hot glue, and we are going to go all the way around on each side of the box here and put one of those popsicle sticks on each side, just like that. So it actually looks like it's, you know, real wood. Brilliant. Just like that. Okay, so you can see the decor piece that I'm using from the Dollar Tree right here. It's the metal. I think it says something about teachers on it. And I'm just taking some hot glue and putting that into each corner, and then putting my square wood dowel into each corner there, just like that. I love using these square dowels, you guys, for making lanterns. Like, they're absolutely perfect. And then so you can see there, just making sure that everything is straight, and we're gonna do the exact same thing here and throwing that in there with our hot glue. Done deal. Look at that. Oh, it looks so good. And now using a few of these popsicle sticks, they're a little bit smaller than the other ones that we used around the outsides on the boxes there. And I'm making some of those little shutters, right? So I'm just cutting them down to size, making sure that they fit in there. And I'm going to do 3 on each side. And of course you can see there that I did paint those up with my antique wax. And so using some hot glue and just putting that in there, making sure, you know, that they're nice and flush and that they're on an angle that matches all the way around, if that makes sense. Like, you want to make sure that they're all on the same angle and they're all lined up on each side of the lantern. Just like this. So you can see how nice and lined up they are. Looking fabulous. It's so cute. I absolutely love this project, you guys. And so using some of my tumbling tower blocks, I'm just using 3 of them and making a little handle for the top. Paint that up with my antique wax, and then we're going to hot glue that onto the top. And this lantern is done, you guys. Like, it's so easy. And look at it, it looks so good. Oh my goodness, I love this project. And so here you can see $36, and I did mine for $6.50. Stellar. All right, here we go, top 10. And look at these beautiful pumpkins. Aren't they absolutely gorgeous? It does say hand-painted swirls. We're gonna do things a little bit differently. So I found these pieces of scrap wood in my garage. They're about, what, 4 inches? The one is about, I don't know, 12 inches. The other one is like 8 inches. I'm using celery and moss from Waverly. And whap! Oh, just wait a second. My hands have changed. Those are Abby's hands, actually, my daughter. She wanted to be part of it. And actually, she did paint the celery one. So I will give her credit for that, for sure. And so I got these stencils from, these ones I believe are from the Dollar Tree. And then these are awesome. You can reuse them, and they're really easy to peel and stick. So I'm using this little swirly kind of flower looking one, and this will go on the celery colored block here. So I'm just, you know, trying to figure out, where do I want it? Which way? And there, I have decided it will go in that corner. Oh, but you can see how easily it came off there. So just a quick reposition and smooth it down. There we go. And now grabbing my white chalk paint and my dabby brush, I am just going to dab on this stencil. And you can see, like, I'm using a big dabby brush because I could not find my little one. It's obviously much easier and you have more control when you use a small one. However, I couldn't find mine. So the big one it is, and it worked just fine. And I like using the dabby brushes only because it gives you, like, it's not full coverage. So, you know, it's a little bit, I don't want to say splotchy, but it's splotchy. Oh, and there Abby is giving me direction as to where to put the next pattern here. So I put it up in the other corner, you can see, and I'm literally just pouncing up and down and doing the same thing. The words escaped me for a second. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Dab, 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 dab. And look at this. Perfect. It was perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And so this stencil I got at Dollarama. I don't know if they have the same pattern at Dollar Tree or not. I haven't seen it, but hopefully they do. And if not, you can just use the same pattern as you did before. And so I'm doing the same thing, laying it down, dabbing with my dabby brush. You can see there that I kind of went over the edges there with my white chalk paint. So I'm just using the moss color, went over top of it, fixed it up, no problem. And then I am just using the stencil over and over again. Of course, I'm letting the paint underneath dry before I use the stencil again over top like this, and just pounce up and down, and look at that. Isn't it so pretty? I love how these pumpkins came out, you guys. And so I have a few of these little knobs that I got at my local thrift store. Look in those little bags, you guys, you know, that they have up at mine. They're all on a wall, like hung up, and you can find a whole bunch of hardware and stuff like that in those little bags. That's where I found these. And I think I got like 10 of them for $3 or something. But I used some E6000 and my hot glue. E6000 is for the permanent hold, hot glue is for the immediate hold, and I'm just attaching these knobs to the tops of my wooden blocks, and those are going to be the peduncles for our pumpkins. And so I'm using this laser cut leaf just to embellish a little bit on my pumpkin here. This is the tall one. And I did a quick finger bow with some twine and some hot glue and placed that at the top. And then here you can see, you know, when you get rid of the fuzzies with the lighter, that's what I just did there, gluing that other bow to the top. And that is it for these cute pumpkins. Aren't they absolutely gorgeous? So high-end, so beautiful. I am seriously in love with these. And now DIY number 9. Okay, so I got these, I believe they're 1x4s. And I'm using first my Nantucket blue and, you know, just doing a very, very rough coat, you guys. It does not have to be full coverage on these pieces of wood because I am going for, you know, like a beachy, rustic kind of effect on this decor piece as well. And so I do the top, the sides, but I just left the back because I thought it was just fine. It's really, really nice wood, right? And then I'm using my moss green color by Waverly. And, you know, just doing the exact same thing, very rough coat, and then making sure that the sides are done on the top and the bottom. And then also doing the last one with my white chalk paint. And there we go. And just sanding everything down, bringing out the edges. You guys know the drill. I love doing this, giving this, you know, rough effect here. It does not have to be perfect by any means. And I did that to all of them there. Sand, 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 bring out those edges. And I love these colors together, you guys. Oh my goodness. But again, like if you want to do this in the traditional Valentine's Day colors, it would be absolutely beautiful. I'm just doing this to, you know, match my vibe and match the decor in my house. And of course, you guys know, like, these are my favorite colors. All right, so I am taking my Gorilla wood glue and a little bit of hot glue, and that's how we are going to adhere these pieces together. of course, the wood glue is for the long-term hold. The hot glue just so that I can continue working, so for the immediate hold there. And make sure you don't mix your glues together. Supposedly they won't stick properly if you do that. And then just wipe out whatever excess glue might be poking out to the front there. So I cut these decals out on my Cricut, and the love is right from Cricut Design Space. I will put, or I'll try to put the fonts that I use down in the description box there. But this says love never fails. And this is just, you know, some permanent black vinyl. Putting it on there, making sure everything is all lined up over to the right side of the piece there. And these fonts just went so well together. I just love it. And now here I am just taking some twine. This is from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna wrap that around, you know, a few times, throw some hot glue on the end, on the back, and then yeah, just wrap it around, you know, I think I did five times maybe, and then hot gluing the last little bit there, cutting off the excess, and there we go. And then using my lighter, just burning off all of the, you know, fuzzies. The bigger ones I do use my scissors to cut off, but you know, burning them off, making them nice and clean. And then these beautiful, I guess maybe rattan hearts, wicker hearts, I got at Dollarama as well. I thought they were perfect for this project. Just hot gluing them on there. Isn't it so pretty? It's so pretty. And it's so simple. And then just taking a couple of those Jenga blocks, throwing some hot glue on there so this stands on its own, and this piece is done, you guys. It's so easy and it's so beautiful. I love it so much. It's so pretty. And DIY number 8. Okay, you guys, look at this. I found it at Dollarama. So it's this little wooden, I don't know, vase holder thing, and it has 3 little vials in it. And it's absolutely stunning. I am so in love with this. It's so cute. And just so you know, with this DIY, if you don't have this little thing from Dollarama, if you don't have a Dollarama, you can absolutely improvise. Like, you could, instead of it being open, obviously, you could put 3 little boxes together, like those little boxes that have the drawers in them. You could do that. You could also just create this out of the little planks from the Dollar Tree. So don't ever think that just because you don't have a Dollarama that you can't make these things or something similar. So anyways, you can see there, I painted the whole thing up in white, and then I painted 4 of those tumbling tower blocks in white as well, so that this little piece has some feet. And I'm just hot gluing those on there. Just like that. This DIY is so simple, you guys. It's so simple and it's so pretty. Okay, so our little thing has feet. And then taking one of these galvanized hearts that I got off of a Valentine's Day sign from Dollar Tree, I'm just hot gluing that into place. You can use like super glue if you want to. Hot glue and metal doesn't really mix very well, but it worked for these purposes. I'm not going to be handling it too much. And then I just hot glued a grapevine heart on over top, and I love how it doesn't perfectly, you know, overlap, because the grapevine hearts are a little bit wonky. And then just taking some of these absolutely beautiful white roses from the Dollar Tree, I just clipped them down, threw them into those little vials, and that is it. It's all done. It's so stunning. So pretty. and DIY Lucky 7. So using one of these vases that I got at the Dollar Tree and some nautical rope as well, you will need 2 lengths of rope for this project. And I'm just going to wrap this vase with the nautical rope. So I'm kind of starting on the inside of the rim there because I wanted to be sure that the whole thing was finished looking and you couldn't see any of the glass, because we want to make this look like a true rope vase. It's so cool, you guys. I absolutely love this project. And so just going around and around, we'll go all the way down the neck of the vase. Now, I know that hot glue doesn't necessarily stick super well with to glass, but you'll see what I do. This rope it's not going anywhere. I promise. And so just going around and around and around and around, all the way around the neck there. And you kind of put the hot glue onto the rope as well so that it just stays, right? It's not just on the glass. And now I cut the rope into 2.5-inch pieces, and we are going to make some little squares with this rope. So using my hot glue, again, you're going to need a lot of hot glue for this project. It definitely took me some time, but the end result is totally worth it, you guys. It's so pretty. And I'm going to use 6 strands of this 2.5-inch rope and hot gluing them all together to make these little squares. And hot glue and stick it on. And if you have a silicone mat, you guys, it would probably be easier just because the hot glue won't stick to it, but I don't have one. And so using my original strand of rope here, I am just going to bring the end down vertically just as a starting point. And you will see why I do this. And then you can see too, I did have to cut down the ends of each one of those squares there, just so that the ends are flush and nice and even. And then I'm just hot gluing that onto the vase there in a vertical pattern. And so I'm placing hot glue into the seam and kind of smushing those edges down so that they're nice and flush, and you can define those squares as you're placing them on here. So again, just putting one horizontal, one vertical, one horizontal, one vertical, kind of like a patchwork there. And you can see again, just putting some hot glue in and smushing it down with my finger. And then I was 2 strands short to actually fill the entire thing. So I did have a couple of extra strands. You could probably just add, to the vertical squares, you could add one on there and it would work out fine. And now I'm just going along with my original strand again. That's why I pulled it down vertically. And then we're gonna wrap the rest of this vase with that strand there, and then getting to the bottom so it's nice and flush. And I am going to cut that off at an angle and then use my hot glue again to adhere that end down at the bottom of the vase. And there we go. So I just wanted to kind of pronounce those squares a little bit more. So I am putting some hot glue in the seams of the squares where the ends of the vertical ones or the horizontal ones meet the vertical ones. And I'm just using this little makeup silicone thingy that I got at the Dollar Tree. And I'm just, squishing that hot glue down. Trust me, you guys, trust the process. It seems like I'm using a lot of hot glue and that it's gonna be messy and yada yada. I promise you it turns out so beautifully. So I did that to each one of those squares. You can see there, just put a bead of hot glue across, and then using my little makeup thingy and just smushing that down so that it kind of, you know, creates a border around the squares of rope there. And just remove any, you know, big chunks of hot glue that you can see there. You just pull them off the rope. And I just felt like this gave it just a little bit more definition. Just like that. Look at that. Oh my goodness, it's turning out so well. I absolutely love this. Okay, so again, trust the process, because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna paint the rope and it's gonna look amazing and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I put the paint on and I was like, oh no, I don't know if this is gonna work. Is it gonna look like messy and awful and whatever? Because obviously the rope is fuzzy and all of the fuzzy strands were kind of sticking out and it looked horrible. But like I said, trust the process. It all works out. And so just going around with my my chalk paintbrush, and I painted the whole thing. And now here I'm just using my lighter and I'm getting rid of all of those like hairy things from the rope there. And the nice thing about using the lighter as well is that it kind of gave the rope a little bit of color too. So I was really digging that because, you know, you're burning it, so it looks a little bit, you know, discolored and worn and amazing. I was so happy with how this turned out. So just going around, getting rid of all of those fuzzies, and then kind of just smushing it down a little bit too once the fuzzies are gone, so that it's, you know, it looks much more smooth. And look at how it's turning out, you guys. Oh my goodness. Oh, isn't that beautiful? I can't even get over it. And so I'm going to use, because I really like that little bit of discoloration, I just grabbed my antique wax and my paintbrush, and just with a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of that antique wax going around, bringing out all of the ridges of the rope. And you guys, this turned out so amazing. I love it when I have a vision in my head and then this happens. Like, I love this so much. It's so gorgeous. DIY number 6. So I saw this, actually a friend of mine sent me this inspiration photo and I just thought it was absolutely stunning. So here we go. I am using a couple of these decor pieces from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just removing the twine that went through those holes up at the top, and I am going to get rid of those holes because I did not want to see them. So all I'm gonna do is just use my my square from Dollar Tree and an X-Acto knife, and I'm just going to score that until I can snap that little piece right off. So score, 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 and then snap, and off it comes, just like that. Easy peasy, you guys. And I will do that to both of those I don't know, what would you call those? Boards, I guess? I don't know. They're beveled too, just so you know. So those grooves those are actual grooves. These are absolutely beautiful. And I got a whole bunch of different ones too from Dollar Tree. There was this kind of white one, there's black ones, and there were also like a wood, like a brown color as well. And so I'm just using some jumbo craft sticks that I got at Walmart, and we are going to adhere these together. Just like that. Hot glue, use the craft stick, go along the seam, rock and roll, and our signs are put together. Look, pushing down. I don't know why I'm showing you all this. Look at that. Look at me adhere those craft sticks. That's amazing. And so watch this. Wow. I took 2 paint stir sticks and just painted those up with my white chalk paint, and we are going to put those on the front here, which will give the piece a little bit more stability, adhere them together a little bit better. So again, just using some hot glue, throwing that on there, and voila, we have, it looks like a little fence. Like, check that out. It's like a little fence. And so I went to the Dollar Tree, and they have a whole bunch of different sizes, colors. Some are sparkly, some are not. Like, tons and tons of these balls that you can get. I chose very, very neutral, like metallic tones, because that's kind of the vibe that I'm going for in my house this year. But like the inspiration piece had red in it, right? You can do blue, you can do anything you want to match your decor. And so you could see there, I just took off the top of the bauble. These are plastic, so then I just snip the top off there. And you know, oh, and I found these ones too. Aren't they so pretty? All of this was from Dollar Tree, you guys. Everything was from Dollar Tree. And now what we're gonna do is, I started with the bigger balls first, and we're just going to place them, you know, wherever you want to. It all, of course, depends on how big you want your ball Christmas tree. But just kind of randomly, sporadically all over the board, placing those all over, you know, just like that, to get your shape, like the initial shape of your Christmas tree. And here I'm just like thinking, okay, well, what color should go where and which way and whatever. I did use 2 of each of the colors, it looks like there. Or see, flip-flop. What are you gonna do? Put that there, throw that there. So this is all just trial and error, you guys. You know, get the shape that you want. And then I'm just making sure that is the star that I'm going to use. It is also from Dollar Tree. So just making sure that that star is going to fit at the very top of our tree here. And I'm just using hot glue and going around, throwing some hot glue on each one of these balls and adhering it to the sign. It's a really, really simple, and oh, I can't wait for you to see when it's done. It is so, so pretty. So we're gonna do that to all of these balls, make sure that they're all adhered to the sign, nice and solid. And then moving on to the next size, I have a few different colors again of the silver balls and the gold balls as well. And you know, just find some spaces to put the next size in, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're watching it, you can see what I'm doing. And it's all, like I said, it's just trial and error, figuring out where things should go so that you can fill in the entire space with all of these balls. And there you can see I grabbed another size, so that's another size down. Those are the tinier balls. And we're just gonna fill those in wherever I feel they need to go until my eyes are happy. Isn't this so pretty? I think it would be absolutely gorgeous with like, ooh, with blue. Because you guys know that blue is my favorite color. So I'm not, and that's more like a winter wonderland thing. I'm doing more of like a rustic, natural, neutral Christmas. And, you know, I just wanted to stick with the metallics and whatnot, but you can, the possibilities are endless, you guys. They're absolutely endless. And you can do this on any scale too. Like if you just want to use all the small balls, you can just use like tiny ones and do things for like a shelf leaner or something like that. You can do a big, huge one too that you can put, you know, out in your entryway. Again, possibilities are absolutely endless. Oh, and there's another size of balls. Look at all of those too. Also from the Dollar Tree. And, ooh, and then I found these jingle bells. They are from Dollarama, I believe. I'm sure that they would have them at the Dollar Tree too. These ones came in two different, like there's a shiny metallic, and then there's also like a brushed silver metallic. And so, you know, I'm just placing them sporadically around my tree wherever I feel that, you know, I need a jingle bell. Just arranging everything just like that. And then of course, once everything is all placed where I want it to be, I am going to hot glue everything all in place. And so these are the packages of the vase fillers that you can get at Dollar Tree. They had silver ones and they have gold ones. Now in my Dollar Tree, they're around all year long for some reason. And then you can never find them at Christmas. So you guys, if you do Christmas crafting and you're in Dollar Tree and you see them in like June, pick them up because you won't be able to find them at Christmas. And so I'm just taking there are pine cones and other different kind of little seed pods almost in these packages with silver and the gold, and some of them have like red in them too. So if you're doing a red tree, you can have that pop of red. So I'm just really filling in all of the gaps that I couldn't fill in with the balls. And the pine cones are really good for that because you can kind of squish them into the gaps there so that everything is all nice and filled in. And then we're gonna hot glue all those into place as well. And now I am going to adhere this beautiful star. Isn't it gorgeous? It's so pretty. It fit the vibe of this Christmas tree perfectly. And I just clipped off the hanger on it and hot glued that to the top. And then of course, just filling in whatever gap I needed to there with another, I think that's a pine cone, maybe it's a seed pod. I can't really see, it's very small on my screen. And I'm just using a stick. I think I got this at Winners, but it's just like a half a stick, and I'm using those two things. Like I'm using two of them, just cutting them down. And then I am going to use my, my wood tint on those as well, just to give them, you know, a little bit of color. You'll see it just like that. Look at that. And that is going to be the stem of my Christmas tree. So you can use a branch from your yard. You can use a like just a popsicle stick if you want to, or a craft stick, whatever needs to happen to give this tree a stem. And you guys, that is it. Look at that. Look at it. Isn't it gorgeous? Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. I can't even get over it. And here we go, top 5, guys. Number 3, and legit, this is best for last. This is my favorite. Look at these beautiful pumpkins. They're so cute. Love, love, love. And by the way, I will be putting all of the Pinterest inspired channels down in my description box, so make sure you check it out. So what we're doing here, we're taking these plaques from Dollar Tree. You could see there, we're gonna cut a line across, then we're gonna go down the middle, across, and then down the middle, because we need 2 of these plaques to create these pumpkins. So you can see there, I cut it across and then down the middle, and it lines up. So I said I cut? No, my dad cut. See, there he is. He's measuring stuff and cutting stuff, and he's very precise, down to, you know, 1/32 of an inch. He was on it. Thank you so much, Dad. I love you. You're such a great help. And so here I am using my antique wax, And we're just gonna give all 3 of these pieces a nice coat using my baby wipe to wipe off the excess here. And we're gonna go all the way around. I do end up doing the back of this as well. And now I wanted it to kind of have, you know, an ombre effect almost. So I am going across the top there with just another coat after the first coat is dry, just around the edges, you know, on the top with that antique wax to kind of, you know, like it's darker and it kind of fades down. And then I take my sanding block and I am just roughing up the edges, bringing out the natural wood color. I wanted this pumpkin to look super rustic and oh, I can't even tell you. I can't wait until you see the end result. Oh, it's so beautiful. And so here I am taking my pencil and I'm marking where I am going to drill some holes. So I just eyeballed it, you guys. I didn't feel the need to measure. If you want to measure, make sure everything is all good, you go for it. And so I'm just going to grab my power drill, drill some pilot holes because I wasn't 100% sure how well this was going to go because I do have to make fairly like big holes. Word to the wise, you do not have to drill these pilot holes, just use your big drill bit. It's all good. I kind of did 3 different sizes of drill bits just to be safe, but then you can absolutely just use a big drill bit and it drills perfectly. So here you can see, now this is the big drill bit that I'm using here, and drill, 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 making all of these holes. Now the reason why we want to make bigger holes like that, you see, because we're going to thread some rope. So we're going to do the same thing on both of these pieces. Whapa! Just like that. Magical. And so here is the nautical rope that we're going to use. This is from the Dollar Tree. There are 2 different thicknesses. This is kind of like the thinner of those 2. And so we are just going to thread that rope through those holes there to bring all of our pieces together. Oh my goodness, I freaking love these pumpkins. I love them. They're my favorite thing. Okay. And so, you know, just threading those through using some hot glue, making sure we're attaching those pieces on an angle and then gluing those down so that they stay nice and secure. And then I did just cut off a little bit of that excess. It doesn't really matter, you guys. This is the back. Like if you're super concerned about it, you know, you can do this much more perfectly than I did. I wasn't too worried about it. But we are going to do that with all 4 of the joiners or the joints, I guess, that we're making here, just like that. And so, because I loved the first one so much, I did a second one. Look at how cute this is. My dad cut these for me as well. And so we're gonna do the exact same thing. However, this one is going to be painted up with my white chalk paint, just like that. My transitions are getting amazing. And I'm just taking just a teeny little bit of antique wax, like just a hint, to give this a little bit of distressing. And go around it, like I used kind of like a curved motion when I was doing that because, you know, these are pumpkins, so we want to kind of give that illusion. And then ring, ring. I did the holes in that one as well. And of course, thread the rope through just like I did with that first one. Now you guys, to figure out what I was going to do for the peduncles on these pumpkins took me hours. This was trial and error, and finally I came up with this idea just to use some wired jute. I am just going to twist it off in a point, and then I'm just going to kind of form the stem of a pumpkin using the jute. So you can see there I kind of do, kind of almost looks like a coat hanger, you know what I mean? Like at the bottom there, just twisting this wired jute around and around. The wired jute is from Dollar Tree. and just going around and around and around and around and around and forming this shape. And so I guess I wanted that to be just a little bit wider. Oh, maybe not. No, you just have to like manipulate the wire. That's all you need to do. You can make it whatever shape you want. Just keep on spinning that wired jute cord around and around until you have the shape that you want. It's so easy, and I can't even get over how much I love how this project came out, you guys. I can't get over it. And so you can see here, I'm just manipulating the shape, cutting off the excess, and then I do believe I use a little bit of hot glue just to secure it down. Do I? I don't remember. I think I do. Oh, maybe not. I just kind of tucked it in, I guess. And so there's my peduncle. Look at the peduncles. Made out of wired jute. Who woulda thunk it? And here I'm just using a little bit of hot glue, and we are going to adhere our peduncles to the top of our pumpkins. Oh my goodness. Look at that. So we're gonna do that for each one of these. There's one, and here's our second one with some hot glue. Smash that on the top, and that is it. Look at those. Oh my goodness. So cute. DIY number 4. Okay, so I took one of these signs from Dollarama. It's really long. I would say it's probably, I don't know, 18 inches long and then 6 inches wide. And I got this at Thanksgiving as well. But again, if you don't have this, you can absolutely use one of those little wood plank signs that you can get at the Dollar Tree and then create a frame out of garden stakes or whatever you want to do. And so here you can see I'm just removing the hardware in the back and then pulling up all of those little prongy things, right? And then I'm just removing these staples from the hardware that was on there. And I'm just removing those little prongy things just on the bottom half of the decor piece that the top half of the decor piece, because I just wanted them out of the way. We don't need them anyways. And so you can see here, this particular piece of decor, the thanks is actually like a cutout. So I just popped it right off. I will put that in my stash for Thanksgiving. And then I'm just kind of, eyeballing where I want to cut this piece here so that it kind of lines up with the rest of the prongs that I had on the back there. So I don't know, maybe 7-8 inches up, I guess. And so I just cut that off, sand down the edge there. It cut like a dream. And then I am just going to put 2 coats of the white chalk paint onto this little, I guess it's just a piece of cardboard, and paint that all up. Like I said, with 2 coats. Okay, so I didn't show the beginning of this nor the painting, but I did take 2 of those little boxes that you get at the Dollar Tree. They're the ones with the owl on top or the house or whatever. And I painted those up in my white chalk paint. Now, I used 2 of them. Oh, and there's Abby. Jeez Louise. So she wanted me to show you her succulents that she's growing here. So this one is named Deborah. The spiky one is Deborah. This soft one is Phil and Phyllis, and it's very, very soft, and she's been taking amazing care of them. She's very, very proud to be a succulent mom. So good job, Abby. So back to crafting. I just took those boxes and glued them together and created kind of like a much bigger box, if that makes sense. And now I'm just placing my my backing piece here that I painted white back into the frame, putting the prongs down. You don't necessarily have to do it this way. I wanted to put it in just so that I had a reference as to where the frame was, so that I centered things properly and did it all good, so I didn't have problems putting it back into the frame, if that makes sense. And now using these half wood beads, every time I use these, I'm pretty sure it was Miss Molly, one of my subscribers, who said she saw these in a jar on my craft table, and she's like, oh, I think that Brie is eating some macadamia nuts or something like that. Oh my God. It made me laugh and laugh and laugh. Miss Molly, I'm pretty sure it was you. I love you, girl. And so you could see there, I glued, like with hot glue, all of those little half wooden beads, and then I'm just painting them up with my white chalk paint. You can see there I taped off the sides because I didn't want to get any of the paint on the frame. At this point though, you could totally just take it out instead of taping it up, but I did not do that. And so this table runner, I'm pretty sure is from Dollar Tree as well. And so you can see here, I'm just taking, I took the white little thing with the box out because I'm just going to measure off the amount of this lace tablecloth or table runner that I need to finish off this project at the top there. So I just used my pencil. The marks were pretty faint, but it did the job. It was totally fine. And so I'm just grabbing my square and my rotary blade there, and we're just going to cut all of the lace up, make sure it's nice and straight. So of course I'm using the lines on my measuring mat underneath and just cutting that up. Okay, so now just taking some hot glue and placing that all the way in kind of the ridge of my frame there, and then using that little silicone makeup thingy, I'm just kind of pushing it into where the hot glue is. It sticks perfectly. You see there how I'm just kind of going across where the frame is there and just kind of jamming it in there, and it works like a dream. Hot glue, put the lace down, jam, 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 jam. Jam, 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 you see? Works like a charm. And I will do that all the way down to about where my little boxes go. So that's where, when I place that back into the frame there, and then hot glue the lace down directly to that piece there. You can see, put that down, jam, 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 and then I will take some hot glue and go, oh, no, I cut first, smart, and then take some hot glue and then just push that down. And it works so perfectly. And now for just a little bit of extra security, I did take my staple gun and I went right along the frame there, threw some staples in just to make sure that my lace wasn't going anywhere. And don't worry, it didn't come out the front or anything. It worked really well. And there we go. It's so pretty. Okay, so final touch. I am going to take my beautiful grapevine hearts with some hot glue, and we're just going to glue these directly to the lace. It adheres amazingly. If you just even if you push from the back, you'll see, I think I do that with that second one maybe. Yeah, see, so I'm pushing from the back a little bit, just to make sure that the hot glue is nice and secure on those hearts. Oh, it's so pretty. This is probably one of my favorite things I've ever made. I know that I say that a lot, you guys, but it's so great when a plan in your brain comes together, and comes out even better than you thought it was going to be. Like, oh, I just love this. So you saw there that I did take some hot glue and put some floral foam into that box. And then I'm just grabbing some succulents. Some are from Dollar Tree, some are from Amazon, and I think some are from Walmart too. And I just used a whole bunch that I thought would look really pretty in there. And then taking some of this moss that I got at the Dollar Tree and just covering up the floral foam that's underneath. And that is it, you guys. And think about it, like you can put whatever you want in there. If you don't want to put succulents in, put some beautiful roses or other flowers. Or like, the sky is literally the limit. You could put some words on the side of the box, like anything your heart desires, you guys. It's so pretty. These were so hard to choose. DIY number 3. And this one, look at this toolbox. It is the most beautiful thing. I absolutely love this. Now, I didn't have all of the same materials that Kathy Jo did. Like, she had a much thicker, like cheese board, I think they're called, from the Dollar Tree. Mine are a lot thinner. And then using one of those wood planks. And don't pay any attention to those garden stakes because I do change my mind. What I'm gonna do, first of all, I'm just measuring this out here, and then we're gonna cut that down, and then we are going to magically paint these in white, just like that. And I just left the bottom blank because we didn't need to paint that. I'm running out of white chalk paint, to be completely honest, so I have to use it a little bit sparingly until I get my order from Amazon. And so I just grabbed 4 of the tumbling tower blocks, and we're going to also paint those in white, just like that. And don't you wish it was that easy? Seriously? Like, if I could just smush the paint bottle and the thing I want to paint together, and it would just be magically painted. Oh, that would save me so much time. So again, using the same tissue paper. So at first I tried it just straight up and down, but then I thought I didn't see as much of the pattern that I wanted to. So I am putting the tissue paper down on an angle here. So same drill as before, you guys, just putting a nice thin layer of Mod Podge down, and then putting the tissue paper down. So you can see there it's on an angle. Like I said, I just wanted to see more of the pattern, and it gave it a little bit more interest too. But again, if this tissue paper is not your jam, you use whatever you want. Like that green, the green one that I use all the time with like the leaves on it. Oh, it's so stunning. That would be beautiful on this. Or there are tons of like spring prints that you can use. There are so many things that you can do with this tissue paper, you guys. The possibilities are endless. And so here you can see, again, just sanding off all of the excess. And there we go. We have both of our little cutting boards done. And so now I'm just taking a bead of hot glue and going right along the very, very bottom of the cutting board there, and then just smushing that onto our wood plank. And then I am using a few of these tumbling tower blocks just for additional support so that there's more surface area that is glued together, and so that it's nice and solid. So we'll do the same thing on both sides here. And you will see, yeah, that's totally crooked. I didn't even notice when I was putting it together. And I'm just going along, you know, gluing everything together. And then I look and I'm like, oh my goodness, that is completely crooked. So I just kind of pried it back a little bit and then threw some hot glue in there, and it worked out. It was just fine. See, you know, just making sure. There we go. So instead of those garden stakes, you guys, I got these painter sticks from the Dollarama, and I'm using 3 on each side. And those little ridges there, I love those because they kind of make it look like it's kind of, you know, uneven and you know, busted up. So I'm just going to put all 6 of those together after I've measured them and use some masking tape all the way around. And then I am going to cut those all together with my miter box and my saw. And then just putting them on here nice and straight, making sure that everything's all lined up, and then using just some hot glue on the edges and throwing those in place just like that. It's so pretty. Oh, Kathy Jo, she has the best ideas. I swear to you. You need to check out her channel, you guys. She is amazing. And so there we go, and we'll do the same on both sides. Now I got this wooden plank from the Dollar Tree, and it comes in a whole bunch of different shapes as well. I got them quite a while ago. I haven't seen them lately, but hopefully, you know, you have some in your stash or you can find them at your Dollar Tree. And then of course, just painting that up with my white chalk paint. I did both sides because you will be able to see the back through the slats on our little toolbox thingy. And using some Mod Podge and some more of our tissue paper on an angle, patting it down. And of course, you guys know, don't ever rub it because you will tear it. Just pat it down into place, and then using my my sandpaper, just going around the edges and getting rid of the excess. And there we go. Just like that. Sand. Make sure it's nice and smooth and gorgeous. And now using one of these ginormous bamboo skewers from the Dollar Tree and my miter shears, I just cut that down to size, and I did have to use my power drill to make the holes just a little bit bigger, just so you know, so that that dowel would fit in there. And then using some hot glue, just securing that into place. And then I have 2 of these half wood beads that I got off of Amazon to place on the ends of each one of these. And that is it, you guys. We're going to throw this on here, this plaque. It's so easy. And then, of course, I needed just a little extra. So I took this homeward off of a sign from a couple weeks ago and put that on there. And this is all finished. Oh, so cute. DIY number 2. So I am taking some craft paper. I got this craft paper off of Amazon. I will try to link it down below. And all I'm doing here is I'm kind of folding and rolling as I go here. So roll, fold, kind of keeping, you know, everything all in place, roll, fold. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna quill. We're gonna do some quilling. Kind of. It's not like super professional quilling by any stretch of the imagination. However, it ends up being absolutely gorgeous. I cannot get over it. Now, I went around and around and around, and then you can see here I'm kind of, you know, loosening it up a little bit and then kind of pushing it down, and you can see there that it's all rolled up into kind of a scroll, I guess you could say. And this is a little bit out of sequence because I got smarter as I went when I was doing this DIY, you guys. So all I'm doing here is just cutting really thin strips of this rolled paper, cut, and we are going to be manipulating these and attaching them to a pumpkin. So this is really the best way to do it. Just make a whole bunch of these. I think I did this 6 times. This DIY took me forever. I am not even kidding. I watched the entirety of Lord of the Rings Return of the King while I was doing this. That is a 3-hour movie, you guys. So, plug in your favorite flick and off you go. But you can see here, those are the little spiral thingies that we are going to glue onto our pumpkin. Now, the pumpkin that I used is from Dollar Tree. It's one of those styrofoam ones. I painted it with hazelnut. I did not show that, but that is the color I used because it's the closest to the color of the paper. And you can see here that I kind of smushed that roll into kind of a heart shape, and then took some hot glue and attached it to the pumpkin. So again, what I do here, and again, I will get smarter as I go. This is just the first few. So what I was doing, I hot glued in the center of the heart, but it wasn't really working. So trust me, I get a lot better. When you do something for 3 hours, you get good at it. Trust me. So you can see here, I'm just kind of, putting them every which way, hot gluing them onto the pumpkin. I can't even get over how absolutely gorgeous this is. It took me a really long time, but you guys, it's so worth it in the end. It's so freaking gorgeous. And the texture is unbelievably beautiful. I just love it. I can't wait for you to see. I cannot wait for you to see the final product. So here I am, just doing the heart thing, gluing them down. You will be using a ton of hot glue. And of course, you don't have to use the same size pumpkin. In hindsight, because this took me so long, I wish I would have used a smaller pumpkin, but so be it. This is what I did. So here is where I'm getting smarter. So I take the tab at the end of the roll there, and I just hot glue it down to itself. And it's so much easier to manipulate this way. So just going along, kind of, just smushing it, making it into that kind of heart shape, and then putting some hot glue on there, and then putting it onto the pumpkin. And we're just going to continue on and on and on. And okay, so I am putting the stem or the peduncle on the top here. So I just hot glued it, and then I am just going to use my little spirals just to fill in around that, that stem there. So cutting off a piece and then hot gluing it to itself, and then manipulating it so it will fit into that little space around the peduncle. And this is actually a really cool technique because as you go, you're just like filling it in and filling it in and filling it in, and things just actually just work. They just completely work. I love this so much. So here you can see I am finishing it off on the bottom. Look how fast I'm going now. Man, I am a pro at quilling. See how quickly? So putting the hot glue, and you guys, I ended up putting the hot glue directly on the pumpkin instead of on the paper, because then I could like manipulate it a little bit better that way as well. So throw that in there, and with hot glue, and stick it in. And then I believe this one is the last one. After 3 hours of doing this, you guys, I was so happy to be done with this. So just making sure that that one fits, throwing some hot glue into my final little space there, and then putting my little spiral right in. Look, it fits like a freaking glove. How beautiful is that texture? I can't even. Look at how pretty it is. Oh my goodness. It's so gorgeous. Love, love, love. Okay, so I decided that my peduncle wasn't quite long enough. So I grabbed some hot glue, grabbed one of the branches that was the same size, and I just extended it. Now it looks kind of goofy like that, but we're going to embellish the top of this pumpkin. So don't you worry, it will look fabulous. And so taking some twine and some beads that I got off of Amazon, I'm just going to thread 6 beads onto this this twine here. So thread, thread, thread. And really, I was being a little bit lazy, I'm not gonna lie. I should have put some tape on the end of this twine. It would have made it a lot easier for me to thread these beads on, but alas, being just a titch lazy, that's okay. It all worked out in the end. There we go. And now we're just going to tie that on to the peduncle, just like that. And we'll have 3 beads on each end of this twine here. And then of course, put in like knots at the bottom so that the beads don't fall off of the twine. So there we go, 1 knot and another knot, and ta-da! Look at that. Clip off the excess, and oh, it looks so good already. So using another one of those daisies from the Dollar Tree, I am going to hot glue that onto the top of the pumpkin. And you can embellish this with whatever you want. Use a sunflower, use, those burlap leaves would be really nice as well from the Dollar Tree. Like, do whatever you want. But the major project was all of that quilling, and oh, it just looked so pretty. So I took a couple of lamb's ear leaves, and I am hot gluing those to the stem as well. And oh my goodness, it's so cute. Oh, it's stunning. It's so beautiful. And in person, I can't get over the texture. Look at how gorgeous that is, you guys. Let me know what you think. And my absolute favorite DIY number 1. And this is probably one of my favorite things that I've ever made, you guys. Legit, it's so gorgeous. So I'm just using one of these wood slices that I got off Facebook Marketplace, and I just drew out a mason jar. Completely free-handed it. I don't have a template for you at all. I'm so sorry, but it's actually fairly easy just to draw out a mason jar to the scale of whatever you are using to do this string art. So I am just taking my handy dandy Saskatchewan Rough Riders hammer, go Riders, and just pounding in some finishing nails here. And just going along wherever I feel that a nail is appropriate. I believe I do 3 going down on each side of the top of the mason jar, and then, just a whole bunch all the way around the perimeter to get this string art going. It's just, oh, this is so stunning. I just love how this turned out. It's so pretty. So you can see here, just finishing off putting the nails into this wood. And if you don't have a wood slice, you guys, you can use pretty much any piece of wood that you can find in your garage, like anything. You could even use like a 2x4 to do something like this. And so I'm just pulling off the paper here to reveal the nail pattern underneath. And there we go, we're ready to string our string. So the string that I'm using, it's actually from Dollarama. It's like, these are mini yarns. I'm sure that you can find these at any craft shop, any yarn that you want to use, any kind of thread, anything. And so I'm just starting it off by tying a knot up in the corner there. And it's a double knot here. So we're going to double knot that on our first nail, and then we're going to start our string art. So on the top there, what I'm going to do first, so we're going to go around the entire perimeter. You can see there, I'm taking the string and I'm winding it around the nail in the same direction for each one. So I'm starting going on the inside and then turning it around, and this is going to create the border for our little mason jar here. So I'll go all the way around going the same direction, just like that. And then we're gonna go the completely opposite way all the way around again. And sometimes if you lose tension, because you want to make sure that this is nice and tight, it will unravel on you. It happened to me a few times for sure, but just keep that tension and continue to wrap the yarn around all of these nail heads. And so now just filling in the mason jar, which way you want to go to fill it in. You can do it as thick as you want. You can do it as sparse as you want. This is where your creativity can completely flow, and you can fill this in however you want to until your eyes are happy, you guys. Up and down and criss and cross and all over the place. I absolutely love this project. You guys are gonna have to let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Pretty please, I would love to know. I've done one other string art as well. It was for Canada Day last year. So I'll link that up in the cards here so that you guys can check that video out as well. And so now going along the neck, I guess, of the mason jar, just going, straight across, filling it in, but making sure we're just going, in the horizontal direction for the top there. Filling it in, and then of course when we're all done, we are going to make a knot. This will happen eventually. Looks like I'm kind of struggling. There we go. So we're going to finish on the same nail that we started on, tie a knot there, a double knot, clip off the excess, and that is it. Check out our mason jar, you guys. Look at it. It looks so good. And so I'm just using one of the Dollar Tree tumbling tower blocks because I want this to stand up. So this is going to give it a little bit more stability. So actually I'm not using one, I'm using two. And I'm just going to hot glue those together. And then we're going to glue those to the back of our wood slice here, just to kind of give it a little stand, so that it will stand up on my shelf and look absolutely gorgeous. And so now I'm using one of these roses. This is also from Dollarama, but of course you guys, you can use whatever flowers you want. I just thought that this was so pretty. Clipped off a leaf, put the little bud in there. That is it for this project. It's really super, super easy. Doing the string art, it's a little bit time consuming, but it's so gorgeous. Oh my, I cannot get over it. All right, you guys, that's it for my top 22 of 2022. I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know down in the comments, did your favorite make the list? Or if it didn't, let me know which one it was from last year. Now stay tuned because I will be bringing you new content on Saturday with some Valentine's Day DIYs. And if you like what you see, do me a solid, tap that like button, maybe subscribe, tell your friends, all of that jazz. Stay tuned for the gag reel. Bye guys. All right, everybody, I really hope that you are enjoying this compilation video of my best 22 of 2022. eyeballs, a little bit in the eyeballs. And we are growing the bangs out again. Very indecisive. So in starting a hair care journey, you guys, hair care journey. And that just means like basically like I took some advice from all of you when I did my little call for help when it came to my hair. But I'm using Olaplex, I'm using K18, I'm using some other things like I have a scalp massager, rosemary oil, castor oil, a silk thing that I put in my hair, you know, at night so that it doesn't get all like crazy tangled. And we'll see if that works. I will keep you guys all updated, but I will say it's been about a week and it feels thicker and more healthy. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, you know? Does everybody still have their Christmas stuff up? Because, sure do. Kind of lazy. And of course, 2022. Okay. 2022. All right, everybody, Happy New Year. And thank you so much for an amazing 2022. And with that being said, no. Okay. All right, everybody, Happy New Year. It's 2023. Jeez, no words.